Hi, we're on the floor today to talk about Hexer. Surprise, obviously. What else do I talk about ever? Basically, I wanted to make a video talking about Hexer and the process of making this thing that we've made because it has been a journey. A very positive one for the most part, but still we've been working on this for a very long time and I thought maybe you'd like to hear a little bit about what I've been doing for the last year, or if you want to make a show or a short film or a web series or whatever, then maybe some tips and tricks might be helpful to you. So, first off, just gonna recap the last year of my life and what's been happening. For anyone that doesn't know, my name is Alice and I'm a screenwriter on Hexer, the web series. I kind of feel fraudulent saying that because it's not really a real thing in the world yet, but it's coming out next week, so I guess I am that thing. I make Hexer with Matt and Olivia and Erin and a lot of other people that have been helping, but for a long time it was just me, Matt and Liv. Before that even, it was just Matt and Olivia. They did a lot of work on the story, the universe, the characters, before I sort of put my oar in. I wanted to come in when everything was kind of nailed down and good to start developing properly. So that was February last year, 2016. That is when we began the drafting process. So that involved writing the first draft of the whole first series of episodes. And that took from February last year to August. So 6 months to write, I think it was 13 episodes then. From there, we were all ready to start rewrites. But then our friend told us about a fundraising competition that was about like diversity in film, and you can try and crowdfund to make the first episode of your series or whatever. From September to October last year, we entered that competition and started raising money for our pilot. So that took us up to the end of October when we got funded, which was great news, but suddenly there was a lot more pressure to actually make the thing because Matt and Liv had been talking about it for so long, and then we'd written first drafts, but nothing was like super polished, and now we had to make the pilot by April. And we were like, oh gosh, we have to make this now. We've never done anything to this degree before. We've never done anything this long. We've never done anything that requires this much like consistent attention for months on end. It was very daunting, but very exciting also because we had the money to make the thing that we were so excited about, which was such a privilege because like so many ideas just don't get off the ground, and I'm very Once we were funded, we started putting out casting calls. We had 2 audition days, one here in Cardiff, one in London. Casting process technically lasted from November through to December, but we made a lot of late decisions recasting, so a few people were actually cast early in 2017. Then we were on to pre-production, which, hoo boy. I mean, it might also be because we did all of our pre-production in December and January, which is A, Christmas, B, we work in retail at Christmas. It's very hard to get anything sorted out with any person around the festive period because everyone's so busy. Would not recommend doing your pre-production around Christmas, New Year time. It's just don't do it. Obviously though, the amount of pre-production work that you have to do is dependent on your project. So like we had to find locations and stuff, whereas if you're doing something like Lizzie Bennet Diaries or Carmilla or something like that, then you pretty much just have to find one location and one angle to shoot at and you're good. We did not do that. We shot in a multitude of locations that all needed finding and hiring, although you will notice in the pilot that the majority of scenes take place inside because there were some scenes that took place outside in the first like draft of the script, but we did not want to risk filming in January, February outside because no. So now we're up to February 2017 when we did our filming. We had, I think, 8 days of filming over a couple of weeks, and honestly the filming section was what I was most like worried about because we hadn't done something in that area at all, but because we did so much planning in the pre-production section, filming went quite well. So that's a tip. Plan everything and hopefully filming will be fine even if you haven't done it before and you don't know what's going on because you planned it, it's fine. Our editor Adam did a lot of work during filming so that we had a lot of the episode already structured and put together, but the technical month for editing was March and it's just finished, so now we're up and done by April. So by the time the pilot episode is out, I will have been working on this project for 13 months. Which is not as long as Matt and Liv have been working on it, but it's still long. Just gonna give you some positives and negatives about making a series online. The main positive about doing a series like this, and I don't know when or if we'll be able to make the rest of the series, but for drafting the whole first series and for making the pilot, literally my favorite thing about the whole process is just that we've been able to choose what we do. We can write it our way, we can include references that we want to include, we can explore the themes we want to explore, we can cast who we want to cast. Basically, no limitations to the thing you're creating, which is great. The negative here, of course, is that you have to do everything yourself. Everything. We had the three of us on the main team, and then we had Erin that came in to help us a bit later on where she was finished with doing her uni directorial stuff. We had a lot of help from people we know and people we hired, and obviously all the people that supported us in the crowdfunding campaign. But when it came to pre-production, admin, making like a presence, building a community on the internet, we did all of it. We did all of it. It's a slog, but you can make what you want. So now I have some tips and tricks for you if you are interested in what I've been doing for the last year, or if you are interested in making a show or a short film or whatever you're making. It is worth bearing in mind that what I have done here is make a pilot for a web series. The whole first series is drafted, but it's not made. So I haven't got the experience of making a whole series or show, but I have made this, so that's something. Step one is get organized. Just make so many to-do lists. This is my to-do list notepad. I rather ceremoniously finished the notepad this very week as I prepped the to-do list for releasing the show. We have like a core team Facebook message chat, but stuff just gets lost in there so fast because we're talking every day and it just disappears. We also have a private like Facebook group where we can post links to stuff, so like spreadsheets of like stuff that we haven't done yet. All of those links go on the group so that you can get at them and they don't get lost in the chat. But for like tasks for the week, I like making a physical list because then I can sort of check things off as I go, which leads me on to designating tasks to different members of your team, which I'm so bad at. I'm so bad at it. I really struggle with giving stuff to other people to do, not because I don't trust they won't do it well, but because I know if I do it, then it will be done sooner or something. I don't know. It won't be done any sooner because I give myself too much to do and then I get stressed that I haven't done everything. So something I'm still learning to do, but something that is definitely essential, is designating tasks within your little group. I do a lot of the social media stuff for Hexer, and I edit all the videos that go up on the YouTube channel, not including the episode itself because that was too much for me. Olivia did a lot of the admin, so a lot of like emailing cast and sorting out contracts and stuff, and emailing locations and being like, can we do this here, can we do that here, can we hold auditions at your place. Matt did a lot of the stuff that me and Liv are not so good at, which is like social interaction stuff, like making a lot of phone calls and keeping track of everyone that needed to be kept track of. I'm still getting the hang of it, but definitely do not put too much on yourself when you have other people that can help you. Something else I would definitely recommend is making the thing into your schedule. So for the first 6 months when I became involved in the whole project and we drafted the first series, that happened a lot slower than any of the later stuff that we did because it was just our thing. Not a hobby, but like we were working on it and nobody else knew anything about it. And it was like, it's a secret, but also there's no pressure to get it done super soon, which I think is dangerous because progress can seem so slow that you'll just end up being like, oh, this is never gonna get done, it's not worth my time, I'm bored of it, blah blah, and then you end up giving up on it. So work it into your schedule. Set aside a couple of hours a day to be like, I'm gonna work on it then, and then I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do this. Then you get into like a rhythm and it's easier to keep working on it for a long-term period. Which takes me on to crowdfunding, which isn't for everyone, and we were very lucky to hit our goal and get some money from it. But regardless of whether we got the money or not, doing the crowdfunding campaign was so helpful to us because it forced us to put out into the world that we were making this thing and we want to make it good for people, and then people started asking questions about it and being like, oh, how's that thing? What are you doing? What stage are you at? And on one hand, it's like, oh, this is so great. We get to talk about this with people outside of us. This is so cool. And on the other hand, it's like, oh gosh, this is terrifying. Have to make the thing now. But it's great because then you're held accountable for this thing that you said you were going to make, and then you receive money for it, and you just got to get on with it. I do have to mention money because doing this kind of project doesn't get you any of that for a long time. I don't know whether this will make any money at all in the future, but definitely for this period, this has been no money, only spending money. So do be aware, unless you're very privileged, or if you're a student and you're getting student loans money, fab, good job you. Unless you have some magical source of income, you're gonna have to be holding down a job on top of working on this several hours a day. So just get that in your mind that it's not magically gonna be like, oh, this is a huge success and I've made thousands of pounds. For Hexer, we started a Patreon account, which was really nice. For a couple of months, we had, it was such a small amount of money. It was like, we got like $5 each or something for 2 months, I think, from the Patreon. It was like, oh my god, I'm being paid for being creative. This is the dream. Then we started to run out of money for the project, so we changed the system for Patreon, and now all of that money goes, at the moment, straight back into the project because we need it. But for that shining moment, I got paid for writing. That's crazy. And it's so great. Leading on again though, I do want to say it's a dangerous system, isn't it? Because it's so easy to take for granted that like people will care about this thing because I care so much about it. So I don't understand why you wouldn't, but there's no guarantee that anyone will want to watch it, will care about it. Not to be a negative Nancy here, but I just wanted to be like, don't take for granted that you deserve anyone's attention. I guess the important thing is just to make something that you're proud of and then hope for the best. That's what we're doing. One last thing, I was able to tell you all the amounts of time that I spent doing each section of the project because I looked back at our Instagram and was looking at like pictures that we posted 13 months ago when it was like first writers meeting. By the way, my hair is so different in all of those pictures. It's very strange. Yeah, I just wanted to say social media in that respect is really satisfying to look back at, and to be able to look back at a year's worth of work and be like, oh yeah, that's when I did that and that's when I did that, and each stage you're able to look at and be like, oh, when we were doing that bit it seemed like so overwhelming and that was like the most difficult step in the world and we were never going to get past it, but then we do, and then you do again and then you do again and eventually you finish it, which is mad. And we haven't even finished because this is just the pilot, but it's been such a long time working on the pilot, and now we have a pilot to potentially put out to people and be like, hello, do you like this? That's about it really. I hope this wasn't too long. I hope it was vaguely interesting to any of you, and do look out for Hexer. The pilot is out on April 1st and I am very excited about it. Please go and watch it. It's cool, I think. Also, you know how much I was talking about crowdfunding and also how I said we kind of ran out of money? We've got a little Kickstarter on the go right now. Basically, we've got a few things still to pay off and we're now paying them out of our own money because we ran out of budget money, which is fine, but if we could make that back, that would be fabulous. But, and I've been saying this everywhere, if you already donated last time, don't you do it again. Don't you? You've done enough. You've done enough for me. Thank you very much. You get away. I hope this was helpful to you and I will see you another day. Okay. Bye, 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 bye.